Hey, quick interjection here from Editor Jackie before this video gets started. If you want a good temperature check on how America is feeling about this summer, well, after writing this video, I had to turn off notifications from one of my news apps because I just couldn't deal with seeing notifications about mass shootings like 5 and 6 times a day. One of them was from Nigeria. The rest were from America. What the hell is going on, people? Hello, Internet. I'm Jackie Fox, and this morning I felt compelled to do something that I don't usually do, and that's to write about a topic before a lot of time has passed. Because I think that, for one, for this particular topic being the police response in Uvalde and what that tells us about certain political ideas. I'm not really going to spoil my concept yet, but I think we learned a lot very quickly in that case, and I think what we learned is very relevant. But in talking about that, there are so many shootings that I read about in the news today that have happened within the last 24 hours that I can't possibly fit into that video. And it's a really disgusting problem to have. But there is one particular story that, while it is not the most violent, it is also the most violently American. And it's also the only one that I was compelled to read. And holy shit, look at this headline and tell me you wouldn't read this stuff too. So, the wild thing about this story is that it contains multiple shooters, more guns actually than there are shooters, but it all starts, as the police report puts it, with the future victim non-threateningly carrying his AR-15 into his local small grocery store. And apparently he goes about all of his shopping without murdering a bunch of people, although I really question how one can non-threateningly carry an assault rifle in a grocery store within the cultural context of everything that's happened over the last week. Anyone in that grocery store could have got on their phone, opened any news app, and scrolled for less than 30 seconds before finding an example of a mass shooting that had happened within the last 24 hours. So I think the fact that you have an assault rifle in a grocery store, to begin with, seems pretty threatening. But it gets weirder. The guy walks out of the store and he feels the barrel of a gun pressed against his neck. The man holding an AR-15 is now being robbed. He is robbed for his rifle and his jacket, which in my mind is a flak jacket, because of course he's carrying an AR-15. Why isn't he wearing a flak jacket? But, it's probably more likely a case of the guy's getting really close up behind him to hold the gun on him, and he says, man, this is actually a leather jacket. I'll have that too. Well, as every gun nut in America can tell you, the solution to the problem of someone stealing your gun is to have another gun. So this guy immediately goes to his car and gets his backup pistol and opens fire on our would-be robber, hitting him several times. In the course of a gunfight that would ultimately wound two civilians, both women who just happened to be bystanders to this situation. So far the reporting isn't clear on whose wild bullets hit these two women. I would assume that it was the robber who was at this point carrying the assault rifle and probably adopting a spray and pray strategy. But the wild thing here is that after this man has been shot repeatedly, and I believe also after the victim has recovered his rifle and fled the scene, the guy is bleeding on the ground, and a random good guy with a gun comes up and shoots him again. And what? This story has everything, and 3 people got shot, the good guy with the gun was useless, if not actively kind of detrimental to the situation, deciding to... I don't know if the guy who got shot this many times is dead. He might not be. He did seem to get shot a lot. But, What in the fucking America is happening in this story? Like, there's 4 guns and 3 people to use them, and I just... I, and the thing is, so many people say, well, we can't get rid of the police because there's all these shootings. What the fuck did they do to stop this one? What the fuck did they do to stop any of these shootings? Any of them? On the same day that happened, in fact, a 13-year-old decided that it would be a good idea to go on a joyride. The joyride was ended by a police officer ending that child's life at gunpoint. I'm just saying, it seems like these shootings are happening all the time. The police are doing absolutely nothing to stop them and are actively gunning people down in the streets in addition to it. It feels like asking for more police in all of these situations is really kind of like pouring gasoline on an already lit fire. And not to put too blunt of a point on it, but we definitely need to come up with a better solution.